So we are recording this meeting of the Middle School Building Committee on the 14th, I'm sorry, I'm looking at November, the 17th of October. 7:30. I'm going to start by calling roll. Is Alexa Anderson on? Head about?
A few minutes late, Pat.
Okay.
Good morning.
Morning, Heather. Peter Fishalis. Okay. Don Gorelio.
Dawn's in the car, as you'll remember.
Oh, that's right. Andrew Herchek.
Present.
That's Dawn there, Pat, that
Okay.
shows us Haley. She's trying to save us.
Okay. Hi, Don.
Sorry about
Haley.
that. Yep, that's me. Hi, I'm Haley. I just dropped her at the bus.
Okay, great. Morning, Dawn. Tim Holt.
Yes. Hello.
Here. Lori Hunter.
Good morning.
Mark Howell. Mark, yeah. Okay. Chris Popov.
Present.
Charlie Parker.
Here.
Matt Root.
Good morning.
Good morning. And Steve Stashewski.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Peter Fishalis is here, Pat.
Oh, Peter Fishalis is here. Okay. Thank you. All right. Okay, let's start with the approval of the meeting minutes for September 19th. Were there any corrections or did we get those? Did anyone have a chance to look at them? Obviously, I didn't.
I move to approve the minutes from September 19th.
Second.
Okay, all right. All righty. So Heather?
Oh,
Oh, any discussion?
me?
Yeah, do you approve? We're approving the
Just a
minutes.
vote.
We're voting. Okay, I'm slow this morning. So we have a first, a second, and we're approving the minutes of September 19th.
So we need a
No
roll
discussion?
call.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll try again. Heather?
Yes.
Thank you.
Alexa's here though. I see
Oh,
Alexa.
I'm here. Sorry.
Okay,
Yes.
Alexa?
Morning. Yep.
Yep. Okay. Dawn?
Yes.
Yep. Andrew Herchek?
Yes.
Tim Holt?
Yes.
All right, Lori Hunter?
Yes.
Mark Howell? All right. I'm going to abstain since I didn't get a chance to look at them. Chris Popov?
Yes.
Charlie Parker?
Yes.
Matt Root?
Yes.
Steven Stashewski?
Oh, abstain.
And
Okay.
Peter Fishalis abstains.
Okay. Okay. All right. Correspondence, Heather.
Yes. Let's see. And sorry, Pat, you were probably right. You were starting off the vote with me, and I thought you were asking me for correspondence, which is why I said no. We're voting.
That's okay. It's today. We're here.
We're all good. We're here now. We're rolling.
We're rolling.
We only had one piece of correspondence. We had one email from someone asking if we have plans for a garden for the site, which I know Dr. Hunter responded to.
Okay. All right. Anything else that you want to say about correspondence?
Oh, no, nothing else. I mean, we sent out another construction report recently. We just kind of keep doing that regularly every couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Nothing else new to report.
Look very good.
Okay, good.
Yeah. All right. OPM update, financial update.
All right, thank you, Pat. So we've got financial update, a few change orders. an opportunity to talk about other project expenditures for town employees, and then we'll go through the construction progress report. So without further ado, we'll go through the budget summary here. This reflects the change orders that have been accepted by the TRC to date, which is 1.3 million in approved changes. There's still a forecasted 568,000 for pending change orders. And as far as expenditures to date on the construction side, we've got 64 million and change for expenditures. No real changes on the A&E or administrative side that I can recall. We captured everything that was approved last month. Let's see here. So total committed costs for the project is 102 million for commitments. We've got 75 and change for total expenditures to date. Any questions on that? So contingency usage, we've got 58% left in hard cost contingency. That's 2.6 million. So still doing really well on the contingency usage front. We've used 30% and we're forecasting the 568, the 12% here. Soft costs, I don't think there's been any change there as well. So still have 611,000 remaining in soft cost contingency. And then the TRC log, we've got 3 change orders to present for CTA 28, 29, and 30 that have been run through the TRC. We'll go through those next. And so those are just showing the commitments. This line is showing the usage of hard cost contingency. And then we have all the invoices that were paid since last time we met in the tune of 4.8 million. So we've got one for, I think that's technology. And then we have CTA's requisition and change order requisition. We have other FF&E vendor, SMMA's invoice, Hills invoice, and then Multivista for the camera. So there's the expenditures. I actually need to pull up the cash flow here, sorry. So cash flow projections. This is just squaring everything up with what's been spent to date, actualizing that, and then just projecting forward to get to the total project budget of 111,516,000. So any questions on financial update?
Yeah, Ian, just one question that what we have been talking about before, the amount of the change orders that are still in resolution of dispute.
Yeah.
What is that amount?
So that's the 568,885 is what's still pending. So some of those are you know, bulletins, scope changes, things of that nature, RFI responses that change scope. A good portion of it is the the remaining winter conditions that we don't have agreement on. So that's what those projections are.
Okay, that the second question is that if what the question that we always get is time and cost. And I always say it looks very good that we're going to be within budget, and that's what I'll continue to say. But what would be your categorization of that in some numbers right now?
Yeah, I think we're in great shape. I mean, we're about 68% done with construction as far as work in place, and to have, you know, $2.6 million remaining in contingency, plus the contingency buckets that we don't want to touch, another 4 million. There is a lot of contingency left, so we're in great shape.
Yeah, I really hesitate to give anybody any of the specific hard numbers sometimes, but I think the basic message is it looks very good to meet the budget, and we're optimistic about being a little bit under.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Ian, that's great news.
Yep. So moving forward, we've got 3 change orders this morning that have been accepted by the TRC. So the first one is change order 28. It has one PCO in here for changing from linoleum to rubber flooring in the locker rooms. So Jen, do you want to say anything about that one?
Sure. Good morning. This was just I guess I'll say an error in the drawings. It was called to be linoleum. Rubber flooring is definitely what we want in the locker rooms, and that was the design intent. It just didn't reflect in the drawings. So we did get a credit for the linoleum, but the rubber flooring is more expensive. It's more to install, and so that's reflective of the $11,845 change.
Yep. Matt, I saw your email. We can get you the spec on the rubber flooring.
Yeah, I just sent that to Jonathan, so we should forward that on.
Okay.
Super. Thank you.
Yep. Next one is 29.
Yep. Change order 29 has 2 PCOs. The first one is just some additional appliances that were, as we went through the design FF&E process, and we met with the user groups again. We identified adding some fridges and microwave it, and changing out some an under counter freezer in the nurse's office. So this was the changes for adding the additional appliances, but also the infrastructure, the electrical that was required to accommodate that. So that's $10,341. And then the second line item is related to just some electrical changes. When we made some plan changes in the band and orchestra, it required some additional HVAC equipment. So we've already previously approved that change. However, there was some additional electrical changes that were not included in the original PCO, and that's what this change is reflecting, and that's $10,074. So the total of this change order is $20,416.26. Any questions? All right, and then the last change order is change order 30. And this was just some additional structural steel required to support the davit base. So davit it's a hoist basically that we're installing at the low roof. So it's for maintenance to hoist any required equipment. We do have some large air handling units on that roof. And we do not have a walk-up stair. It's just a ship's ladder, essentially, that goes up to that roof. So this hoist will provide the maintenance to get equipment up to that roof. So we owned the hoist. We owned all the infrastructure. It's just with some structural changes in order to support that better. So that's $4,931.13.
Yep.
Those are the
Great.
only three, yep, change orders that we wanted to review today.
Any questions? Seeing none, do I have yeah, we approve these, a motion to approve?
So moved.
We don't need to approve them. It's just for information. They were,
Okay.
it's under the threshold for the TRC.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yep.
Not moved.
But it doesn't sound like anybody's objecting to these. So that's great. And
So the next order of business is just project expenditures for town employees. So I see Carrie's on. I'll give you the floor.
Great, thanks, Ian, and good morning, everyone. The request before you today is to consider funding the town's project manager salary from the project budget, and this would be from November 1st through the end of the project. The reason we're making this request at this point in time is the town's project manager, who is Gail Dowd, is it's not a budgeted position within the town budget, but we are funding it through by holding open a budgeted position. And the position we're holding open right now is our procurement manager position. And Gail has also been serving as our procurement manager part-time. What we're finding is this really isn't sustainable for us right now. This is causing some hardship within town operations on procurement. And with the MCI Concord project coming online, we have a lot of procurement anticipated associated with that, with the grant funds we're receiving from the state. We have a lot of additional procurement that's happening on the town side to prepare for the 250th celebration, and then just our regular workload. So the estimated cost here is about $7,200 per month. So that's about $30,000 to $50,000 from November through the end of, I think the end of the really heavy workload associated with what Gail is doing. Once we move into the new school and we're into the next phase, I think things will slow down. But for right now, we're looking for some consideration of funding for the next 4 to 6 months or so of that salary. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
I can't raise my hand or I can't figure out how to, but I have a question. Can anyone hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, Alexa, we can.
Yeah.
Sure. I guess the question actually is more maybe for someone like Dawn. Is it typical that this kind of role would be budgeted in a project? And if it's typically budgeted in the project, why didn't we budget for this? And why is it coming as a surprise so late in the game?
So if that's
I don't know, maybe
directed at,
more- yeah, sorry.
sorry, no, this is Dawn and I'm in my car. So if that was directed at me, which I think it was, so there's a few different ways that towns can choose to have representation. And in this particular project, we have an OPM, Phil Limo and the team that has been representing us from the beginning. Sometimes towns do their own OPM. They have someone on staff and they serve in that role. We kind of ended up in this hybrid where we have an OPM and we have a town representative. And I just want to be clear, Gail has been invaluable to this project. I'm not sure everyone's aware of all that she does and the role that she plays. So we just sort of ended up here, and I think she was originally a town employee, CFO maybe. I can't remember. I don't want to speak out of term as far as what your title was, Gail. But she sort of rolled from that into this, and it became, she stayed on payroll with the town. And I was always appreciative of it because I know how valuable she is and what she's doing sort of on site and with the contractor and our OPM and the designer. And so if we had known that this would be how it played out, we certainly would have planned for it. I don't think that our committee understood that this was how it was going to play out. And then because she was a town employee and remained so, we just kept using her services, which has, again, been invaluable. So then Carrie brought this forward to us, and I do understand that it's a salary, like it needs to be paid out of someone's budget. In an ideal world, we would have known that this role would exist and needed, and we would have budgeted. That's not the case, but we have needed it. So I guess
Dawn,
it's a weird
normally,
question. I don't.
so
Go
normally
ahead.
a project would have budgeted for this and it would have come out of a project budget?
I mean, like if you knew from the beginning, yeah, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and we just sort of ended up here, and it was the role she was filling, we needed. So, you know, we didn't know we would need it when we set this project up and it started. It's just something that our town is not, how can I explain this? It's
you've
unusual.
explained it enough,
This
I
role
think,
is
Dawn.
unusual. What's
Yep.
that?
I said, I think you've explained enough. I guess my next question
Okay.
is too, so where will this money come from? Soft contingency, hard contingency, somewhere else?
So there's a couple of things that we can do. And just looking at the budget summary here. So you could draw from soft cost contingency. That's the 611 balance that we have in soft cost contingency. Another thought would be because it's project management service, we have some uncommitted costs in the OPM line as well for 223,880. So that's available budget for PM services.
Ian, it's
So-
Dawn. What was that? What did you do? 2030? Again, I'm driving, so I can't see what you're sharing, but what was that originally budgeted?
200,
Is that like
223,000. Sorry, there's an uncommitted amount of money in the OPM line item for 223,000.
Ian, is there any reason why we wouldn't just use that line? This is for.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking what it was for.
Completely up to you guys. However, I mean, it's you can use contingency, you can use that line. It's just reserve money.
Okay, I guess my
recommend-
question.
Sorry, Pat. I would recommend we do that unless there's something that someone sees that this needs to be allocated for.
Well, I guess that's my question. Leroy Hill as the OPM, do you see any need to hold back this money?
Pat, Peter
Or-
Martini. No, we just had a budget going way back for a percentage of construction that came out to whatever that 3,678,000 was when we got through the negotiations with you guys and completed our contract amount. It just came in less by $223,000. I mean, if the job continues out past our specific contract completion date, which we're not anticipating it to, yeah, we may have asked for an ad service, but we're not anticipating it, and it wouldn't be anywhere near $223,000. So I'd recommend it be taken out of that too.
Thank you, Peter. Tim, I see your hand up.
Yeah, just a couple of things. Having served on to answer the earlier question, I've served on 4 building committees in Concord and Carlisle, and it's unusual. And none of those was there. And the other 3, there weren't a situation like this. It's almost always pretty defined. Having said that, I concur with the fact. I think this function is very important, and it's been highly successful. So to keep that going, I think is right. I would say one thing, just one comment. I wish, if you're looking for a decision today, I wish there would have been a meeting where we brought it up and then actually make the decision in the next meeting. But I'm sure time is of the essence. So I think it's great. I think, by the way, I think this function contributes to the fact I think this project was managed probably the best of the four that I've seen from a financial standpoint. So I'm definitely for it. I do think these things we should see it once and then have ability to think and then do it in the next meeting. But if the time is of the essence, I'm for it.
So then let me ask if there are any other comments regarding wishing that folks had the opportunity to vote at the next meeting on this. And also to ask Carrie, is time of the essence in this? I'll just speak for myself. I feel really strongly that this is fine, especially since we can take it out of the OPM budget line. It's already there. It is project management, and that makes all the sense in the world to me. But are there others who feel like Tim that they would prefer not to vote on this today? And then Carrie, if you could just chime in on what the impact.
I wouldn't go that far. It's just a comment when these things come up. I think the best process is to do that. But given the nature of this and hearing the discussion, I don't have a problem with doing it today. I think things like this should be considered over 2 meetings. But it's fine if we do this.
I had a question or comment. I guess I'm having trouble with the raise hand function as well.
Okay, Andrew, thank you.
Yeah, my only thing is I don't like how there's there's no defined date to end. It just says to the end of the project. That's a little concerning from an approval perspective. I think we should take it to the end of this calendar year or to February, like a hard date, if we're going to approve anything.
Okay. Heather?
I was just going to say I agree with Tim's comment in concept, but that given the timing here, I am totally fine with voting today, and I am in favor of it. I think basically, like you said, Pat, I think it makes sense, and it makes sense to take it out of the OPM budget. So just wanted to weigh in my support there.
Heather?
It's Dawn. Can I raise my driving hand?
Yes, you may, and then Mark, I'll
No,
get to you.
don't raise your hand.
So if Mark can go
don't
ahead
raise
if
your
he was
hand.
in front of me. Yeah, I was like, all I know how to do is unmute. I was going to suggest, related to Andrew's comment, which is a good one. And also I want to say I agree with everything Tim said. Maybe we put the end of phase 1 as a timeline, as an end date, and then revisit if needed for phase 2. And so is that substantial completion? Is that, like, I guess I would look for Ian to give us like a date, completion date for phase 1. I don't know it off the top of my head, but maybe we vote through the completion of phase 1 or substantial completion or certificate of occupancy, whatever the end date wants to be. And then if we need to revisit for the phase 2, if her services are still very much needed in that phase. It was suggested by Carrie that maybe they weren't, but if we need to revisit it, ahead of that deadline, a month or something, the meeting before the end of phase 1, then we can revisit it.
Yeah, I'd say for phase 1, we're looking for construction to wrap up and have occupancy late January, early February. So obviously the goal still remains to get the students in February. There's going to be a lot going on. There's going to be furniture deliveries, move-in, quite a bit of activity in the month of February as well. So I'd say through February would be good from a phase 1 standpoint. There's going to be punch lists. There's going to be phase 2 work. There's going to be change orders that we have to finalize and negotiate even after phase one is over. So just things to consider.
Yeah, I was actually, as I said that, I was like, well, there's a lot of wrap up after you're technically in the building. So, so maybe I'll rethink what I'm suggesting, only because I know the process of close out. I don't know.
So I was going to make a suggestion that kind of addresses that, which is that we could just put a dollar amount on it. If I quick back of the napkin, 7 months at 725, 7225 is 50,575. And that would allow for a gradual roll off in level of effort. And if, if that doesn't seem to be a good number at some point, we could tweak it later as an ordinary change. And
Lori,
maybe 7 months isn't the right number, but something like that. Just pick a number and authorize it for that level.
Lori,
Thanks. I'm probably chiming in a little on some of what's already started as a conversation. There's no question in my mind, Gail's going to be very, very involved in moving us, demo, abatement.
Also can't figure out how to raise my hand, but wanted to see the building.
Jonathan,
We're
just
gonna
to,
definitely need her for the first part of phase two at a pretty significant similar level as to what's happening now, because a lot of that is all choreographing all the vendors and such that need to get in and help get phase two underway. So I don't know how you want to approach that, but I don't think it's February that it's going to wind down. I think it's more likely April, May-ish based on the tentative timelines we've been talking about for demo. So just
7
few
months would take
there.
us through the end of May, November, December, and right through May.
Yeah.
It's just a guess, and one can assume that we could be at a lower level by May, so maybe that leads into June a little bit, but I don't know. Carrie, do you want to comment on that suggestion?
I mean, I suggested $30,000 to $50,000. That was the range, and I was thinking that timetable as well.
Okay.
Steve,
Just knowing the cadence of the change orders that have been submitted from CTA on the project. They're all late. They're taking a long time to present, have markups and changes and negotiations back and forth with Hill-Lero, and late meaning, if a PR goes out, say the last day of the project, that may be 3 months before we're presenting something to the technical review committee, because of the time it takes to develop a full change order, if there were something that had come up. So I would strongly hesitate to take Gail out of the picture until at least June. I firmly believe that she's 100% the core of the TRC and the financial health of the project. And I think June is the right time to revisit how long she's still needed at that point.
thanks, Steve. That's a good perspective.
Also can't
Look-
figure out how to get my hand raised here.
Okay, Jonathan,
You
yeah,
guys
go
can hear
ahead.
me.
Yeah, we can hear you, Jonathan.
Building demo completion is scheduled for mid-May of 25. So that's, we will be very busy on site at least through then, with the abatements and demo of the building.
Alexa?
Yeah, everything that I've heard suggests that Gail has been invaluable even before this meeting. So like Steve, I would hesitate to sort of put an end date or a financial cap. I think that this executive team that does all these change orders and whatnot, I sort of trust them to recognize. So I'm just trying to say I don't need a financial or end date on this, because I think the resounding feedback is that Gail is an integral part of this team, and as long as we need her, we should keep her. I think it's just, unfortunate that, this financial ask came so late in the project. Other than that, I have no problem with it. I think, yeah, Gail's invaluable.
Okay, I think that the general consensus is that Gail is invaluable. What I'm also hearing is that we would support giving the town or paying Gail's salary starting November 1. The only thing that I think is left hanging is whether or not we want to put either a time limit on this or a dollar limit on this in any agreement that we come to with the town. And I'm not sure if we are actually going to need to, what will be the formal agreement with the town? Are we going to be signing something? Gary, can you help me with this?
Sure. No, I think you would be amending your budget, and we would be transferring this expense over to the project budget. We wouldn't expect there would be any other agreement other than a vote of this committee and an adjustment to the budget.
So if we're bringing the money out of the project manager line item, do we even need to amend our budget? Can we just, we don't designate who we're paying in that line item, do we?
I think if there is an interest in putting a cap on a vote today and then having a check-in at a future point in time, it probably makes sense to have a separate line item. But if you want to vote to support just continuing the costs through the end of the project, I don't think you need a separate line item.
This is Dawn. Can I? Oh, sorry.
Dawn, you're breaking up.
Sorry, I'm on Route 1 in Saugus. That's probably why. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Well, we could hear you.
Amount in that budget, we could pay her so harm in just saying through the duration of the project until we deem not necessary. It's not going to be longer than a year.
Okay, so what I heard you say, Dawn, is we could say through the duration of the project as we deem necessary. Steve, do you want to comment?
Could I make a motion, Pat?
Yeah.
So
I think
would
so. Yeah.
like to move to approve the recommended project expenditures from the letter received from Carrie LaFleur for the project manager at the expenses outlined through the completion of the project, or at which time this committee deems necessary to amend.
I can
I'll
second.
second that. Go ahead. Either way, I'll race you
Heather.
to it, Alexa.
Right, any discussion?
I think we need a better defined end date. I don't like the way that reads.
All right, so
Amend, you can make a motion to amend, Andrew, otherwise we have to
yeah,
amend the motion.
If I'm the only one, I don't want to derail the conversation.
Charlie, did you have your hand raised?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, based on what I heard, it seemed that the committee is totally amenable to continuing this if necessary, and that the June date was put up as a sort of step one. And I think as a committee, we've been very, very accommodating on requests like these, and we would be accommodating to extend it and were it to come up to the committee again, I'm sure we would extend it, but having an end date of some sort allows for us to budget it and then to set it aside as something that is, you know, not simply open-ended and undefined. So I agree with Andrew on this. And, you know, I think that, you know, just simply for budgeting purposes, you would want to have an end date, and, you know, and then there's no issue with revisiting, and it wouldn't take long to do. And we could do it in advance if we need to. And I think that would be an appropriate compromise here. So I would run this through June.
Okay, so do you want to propose an amendment to the motion?
Are you asking me?
Yeah,
Yeah, I would amend the motion to run this agreement through June with the intent that it can be revisited and to include additional months if the committee deems to be necessary. I don't know what that does to the motion, but I think that's the way I would say it. Is that consistent with what you were saying, Andrew? I think you made some good points on this.
Yeah, exactly.
No, there's no capping here. It simply expresses the current intent of the committee to wrap it up by June, if possible. If not, certainly we would continue. So there you go. That's would be my amendment to the motion.
Second.
okay.
So process,
Uh,
wait, Steve, if you seconded, you could just amend your own motion as
Whatever is
opposed
needed.
to, I'm trying to avoid us doing two votes. We don't want to vote on the amendment and then vote on the motion. So Steve,
Oh,
if you
God.
seconded and agree anyway, you could amend your own motion and then someone can re-second that.
Okay, so I'll just say it one more time and then we're good.
yeah, let's hear the whole motion.
See if I was paying attention, right? So I'd like to move to approve the project expenditures as proposed by Claire LaFleur through the end of June 2025.
Second.
I don't mean to nitpick, sorry, I'm just continuing, but is it possible to mention in the motion, or do we think we need to, that will be open for possible continuation by discussion at that point, or do we not need to?
I think that's implied,
Okay,
right? If we need to extend her, it'll just be
we'll just
another
do it then.
discussion in motion.
Okay, I'm
I
good.
think that's how I see it.
All right, are you comfortable with that, Carrie?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so Steve, you have amended your motion. Do we have a second for Steve's amended motion?
Second.
I think Chris already seconded it.
Okay, thank you, Chris. And then is there more discussion? Okay, I'm gonna do a roll call. Alexa,
Anderson, I.
Heather, Peter Fashalis,
Aye.
Don Guerrero,
Yes, if you can hear me, I'm a yes, and a huge thank you to Gail for all her hard work.
thank you, Don, we heard you. Andrew Herchick,
Hercheck, aye.
Tim Holt. Tim, are you still with us?
And I'm muted. Yes, I was
Muted
muted,
him.
sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Lori,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Pat Nelson, yes. Chris Popov,
Yes.
Charlie Parker,
Yes.
Matt Root,
Yes.
and Stephen Szejewski.
Yes.
So it passes unanimously, and I just want to say I appreciate the robust discussion about this. It's good that we look at all angles of these questions, and just want to thank everybody for spending the time on this. So we can now move to the next item, which is the student building committee.
No, you have a construction update, Pat, first.
Oh, construction
This is
update.
the
of
fun
course.
part.
Oh, we're building a building. That's right. Gotcha.
So I was gonna ask, is it, you want me to go first, or would you like the student building committee to go first?
Mr. Cameron, are you
Timing-wise.
ready with the kids so that they don't have to wait through the update?
Yeah, I appreciate that. I just want to make sure our sixth grade members are on from the Peabody building. Diane Blair is texting me. She's one of our hard.
Like they're good.
She might be on a different name.
No, we can see her.
I see her, yeah.
They can hear you. They're waving.
Great, wonderful. I don't know why I can't see their camera. Do you guys see it? Okay. Oh,
Right.
well, hi there, sixth grade. How's it going over there? How's that principal over there? Is they treating you? Is he treating you well?
We're really gonna
you
miss the two building thing, you know?
Yeah.
We are missing a few members. We're missing our two Boston area members. The Boston bus has not arrived yet. Here comes one more member. You might actually just shutting the door. All right, I'm gonna actually turn it over to Dr. Hunter because I have to step out and get two schools started, two buildings started for the school day today. So I'm gonna turn it right over to Dr. Hunter.
Okay, thank you. So I think the first thing we're going to do is have them reintroduce themselves to you. They're familiar faces. You've been watching them be part of this since the groundbreaking, you know, over a year ago. So can you all introduce yourselves? Well, can we start in the Peabody building? Go ahead, decide who's going to go first.
Haley, and say your name again. Anaya. I'm Alex.
Thank you. And now in Sanborn?
So we're going to talk very loudly here. I want to start over here.
My name is Luke.
My name is Hugo, and I'm in 7th grade.
You want to sit here?
I'm Felix. I'm in 7th grade too. I'm Juniper, and I'm in 7th grade too. I'm Nella, and I'm in 7th grade.
Great.
Right,
It's
and we
really
have
hard
two
for
more
us to hear the Sanborn folks, so
Yeah.
as loud as
I'm
they
trying
can
to
be.
get them to talk really loudly. Aiden
Yeah.
just walked in.
Oh, good.
Aiden, can you say hello? Just introduce yourself and share what grade you're in now.
Aiden, I'm in 8th grade.
Aiden started off as a 6th grader at the student building committee.
I'm Dylan, and I'm also in 8th grade.
Great. And Dr. Hunter, whatever questions you have for us, we're going to talk as loudly as we can. And we'll say the same thing to the Peabody, the 6th grade student building committee members. We're going to talk as loudly as we can.
Yeah, we can hear 6th grade a little better. They're closer, I think. So I think just two questions for those of you who are willing to talk with the building committee. So this is the group of adults who meets regularly to make sure the project's moving along and keeping it on track, and probably most importantly, pay the bills. And so it's really exciting for them to get a chance to hear from all of you what you've had a chance to experience over the last year and a half-ish. You're at 15 months. Can anyone share what you are most excited about as we get closer and closer to getting into the new school?
Why don't we give them a little think time on that?
Sure.
But let's have a student ready to answer that question in 30 seconds. I would love an opportunity just to remind the CMS building committee that all of these students started this work out, this important work, when they were in 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. And now they are in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. So that's pretty remarkable. I'm not going to say this to my faculty and staff, but we haven't even had a faculty and staff group, an adult group at the middle school who have been together for 3 years focused on this building. So that's pretty exceptional. And I just want to applaud the 6th grade members and the 7th and 8th grade members who are in this room at their commitment to the last 3 years. Appreciate managing 2 buildings, and being on a Zoom with just 2 buildings is actually easier than what we did last year and the year before, when we had some of these students spread out, not only in the 2 middle school buildings, but throughout the 3 elementary buildings as well. So the question Dr. Hunter has for us, do you want to restate the question, Dr. Hunter?
Yes. What are you most excited about in the new building? And I'll remind the adults, they've been in the school at least twice, and they're going back again this afternoon with us. So they've had some front row seats to the progress.
What are you guys most excited about? Speak as loudly as you can. Yep.
Probably like the idea of going into like a new building, I guess, and like having a new experience and as being a middle schooler.
Yep. So the idea of just going into a new building and having everything new was that answer. Do you have an answer from the 6th grade?
I'm most excited just to see all the furniture there and just to see the rooms looking like they're actually rooms.
They
Alex, I'm
really
glad
do.
that
Yeah,
I'm
it's
glad you
exciting.
answered that. Glad you answered the question about the furniture, because we did some inventory work as a faculty and a staff yesterday. And I think I was up to about 47 times I told a teacher or a faculty member that they could not bring their old furniture, the favorite chair that they loved. So it's important to me that I just heard a student say, I'm looking forward to all the new furniture.
Agreed. Agreed. What else excites you? 1 or 2 more folks maybe willing to share?
All right, Dylan's ready to share. Aiden, sorry.
Probably most excited for like all the students be all in buildings, so no delays could happen. There was one, basically.
Yep. Did you hear that? Did you hear that?
No, can you repeat?
For all students to finally be in the new building, in one building. I think I almost want to recommit, that as we approach this last 100 days. We're at 124, by the way, 124 days left. So when we approach the 100 days, we've actually talked about, as a faculty and staff, about reprioritizing the fact that we're bringing 2 buildings into one. So that was an excellent answer by Aiden.
Yeah. All right, how about one more and we'll let you get going off to class. One more person willing to share?
Ms. Blair, 6th grade. There another student who wants to
I
share?
can't believe no one has said air conditioning yet. You guys are stunning me. Is that a thumbs up from all of you? Yeah. We have a lot of great conversation while we're walking around. They see things we don't see. It's been really fun. And I'm excited. This afternoon, you're going to be really excited to see how much progress there's been. Walls and paint and bathrooms are almost complete, and it's going to be just a great walkthrough. So we'll be sure to share pictures as we get through it. Well, thank you all for taking time out of your morning. I know you're missing things you're supposed to be at. Anybody on the building committee have a quick question or anything they want to ask before they go?
Well, I'll ask because I can't help myself. Is there any particular aspect of this new building, either the auditorium or the music space for music or the space in those science labs or all the windows, that can anyone just pick some aspect of the building that they think is just really neat?
Someone want to share a spot that you're excited about or think is really going to be amazing?
Air conditioning.
Oh, now the I think this afternoon, they haven't seen the auditorium, with wallboard on it. I think the gym's got walls in it now that I haven't seen yet. I think this afternoon, you're going to really be stunned at what opportunities you see there. To date, it's been not quite fully, flushed out. So I think it's been fun to see it.
Yeah. Well, I'll just say for you guys and for the future middle school students, I'm really excited about these spaces that you're going to have in this building. And I also want to thank you for participating in this and congratulate you for your tenacity and staying involved. So thank you guys. Good
And their
job.
role is going to shift to a really important role as, you know, kind of the go-tos for the rest of the student body because they have so much more information. So we're really excited for the role they're going to play in the coming months as we get ready to move in. So, all right, thank you all. We're going to let you go to class.
Thank you.
I'll see you this
Thank you.
afternoon.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, do we want to switch on over to the construction progress report?
Sure. I'm glad I didn't go first because I've got some spoilers in here for this afternoon. So sorry. Really great progress on the building. Continuing to have some big billings every month, which means a lot of work is going into place, which is exactly what we want to see. So the C building, just starting to see more and more finishes in this building. The HVAC and plumbing is, you know, 95% complete. They're still doing some you know, the last 5% there. We've got a lot of electrical finishes going in, 75% complete with that. We've got paint is done with the exception of the final coat, which remains. We've got tile and other wall finishes at 90%. We've got the ceiling grid up. They're starting to white out the ceiling. So putting in the ceiling tiles, when we say white out, that's what we mean. Cabinetry is 80% complete. So you'll see a lot of cabinetry in the spaces. The big activity that we're anticipating is flooring. So they're going to start putting down the sheet flooring this month. Some really great milestones in the C building. They started up some of the HVAC units last week, and they're starting to heat the spaces to condition the spaces and get them so that they can continue with finish trades. We had some long lead items hit the project site this week. We have the ERU units being delivered and hoisted to the roof, and the elevator has also commenced as well. So you'll see some snaps of the elevator install in here. But this, you know, this picture on the right starts to show the level of completion in the space, and with the wood slats and everything, finishes going in as we move forward. So building C, they're still continuing with the metal facade work on the exterior. The electrical roof is complete. Same with HVAC and plumbing. The sheetrock is 95% complete. And they got paint. All the first coat of paint is done in that space as well. We've got building A, the kitchen, the sheetrock is 60% complete. We've got the fridge and freezer install is done now. The auditorium is primed and painted. The first coat, they're proceeding with the GFRP panels, which is the glass fiber reinforced polymer panels, fiberglass panels, essentially. The gym sheetrock is 70% complete, so starting to close up walls there. Same with the locker rooms. They're prepped for the hard ceilings and the wall tiles in the locker room, so that'll be ongoing as well. A lot has happened on the site. The curbs are done. The sidewalks are nearly complete. We've got pavers that are going in at the main entry. The loam is in place. Start to see some grass out there at this point. Plantings are ongoing. They'll probably be wrapping up for the season here shortly. They've got some of the exterior concrete benches in place. Two out of the three of the wraparound benches are in place. They installed the septic tank and the acid waste tanks. Those are installed and backfilled now. And then they've got some concrete work, some ramp work that's been done. The big ramp that takes you behind the building, and building B is complete, and they're working on the ramp in front of building C on the north side. As I said, big milestone, starting to heat building C, condition those spaces. The curtain wall testing that happened back in September, shortly after the September meeting, those tests passed, so everything was good with the curtain walls. We've got window testing that's still ongoing. We've got 5 more locations to do with the window testing, so that's going to continue this month. We've got Verizon that we're trying to line up for the phone cabling, and scheduling is as I said before, we're marching towards end of January, early February is what we're projecting for occupancy, and coordinating all of the move-in with the teachers. Hunter's been doing a lot of great work in doing inventory and understanding what's in the existing buildings, and just trying to organize that process and get things moved over to the new school or moved out of the existing schools. And then we've been coordinating with FF&E as well, and have a window of opportunity in January and February that we're trying to get everything in the building as well. So we've been coordinating everything with CTA and kind of talking through the micro schedules there, and all the things that need to happen towards the finish line, and everything's been going good. So any questions on the update? I got some photos. Good.
Ian, can I just offer and we didn't really revisit the weekend work and some of the things we talked about at the last.
Yeah, sure.
But just to comment on the level of effectiveness those decisions have had, the progress has been really, really extraordinary. Almost momentum has really picked up, and we can see it, really tangibly. So you'll see, I think, as Ian shows the photos, but thank you for the support on that. I think it's mattered. We are running a 6-day-a-week project right now, generally, and making really thoughtful decisions about what to do on the weekends, and it's working.
Yep. This photo here is in the gymnasium, so you can see the level of finish here. Starting to close up the walls and whatnot in that space. Still a pretty big staging area in the gym. Building C progress. So start to see more finishes here. The cabinetry is in place. You've got lighting. The lighting's on in the spaces, and ceiling grid, everything's up. Starting to see more and more finishes in those spaces with the various trades. Same with some of the common areas here. So more progress in C. This is one of the bathrooms here on the left. We've got drinking fountains, bubblers, and then this is the flooring material that we're anticipating installation soon. So that's what that looks like when it arrives at the job site. Auditorium is on the left, so you can really see that space take shape with the stage area in the front, the GFRP panel here on the wall, the big white structure, and then this is the media center. You can see the soffit work above, and various things going on there with MEP finishes. So these photos, we've got an office area, we've got the fridge in the kitchen area here, and then we've got the elevator that's in progress. So great to see some of those things, some of those trades on site at this point. Some exterior facade photos. and just the completion of some of the building wrap here. And then some site work photos. These are the bio clear tanks in the back of the building. And then we've got the concrete ramp that I talked about before in the front of the building that's ongoing. They're going to complete that this week. And then just a shot of some landscaping that's in place. So those are the progress photos.
Thank you, Ian. That is fabulous.
Yep.
Any questions from the committee? Okay, moving on to new business. Oh, Matt. see your
Sorry,
hand up.
Matt. Just one request, if there are any new commissioning, enclosure commissioning or mechanical commissioning reports. I don't know that we've seen any mechanical commissioning reports. Has that work started?
John, you want to take that one? Looks like maybe he froze up.
Maybe for us, yeah. So just a request there, and then sorry, Jen, I don't want to pick on the flooring too much, John, and thank you for sending over the cut sheet there. Just I see it in the schedule. Is it in? I guess is that flooring in any other spaces currently, or is it just going in the locker rooms and the hallway?
The rubber flooring,
Yeah.
I believe it's just the locker rooms. I think it's also in the OTPT. It'll be in the
Okay.
OTPT classroom. Yep.
Great. Thank you.
Yep.
Are you back
Sounds
with
good.
us or not? Oh, you froze again.
Maybe.
All right.
Let's see.
Well, we'll get an answer for Matt's question at some point.
Yeah, but by any means, we'll get you all the reports that we have in hand.
Super. Thank you, Ian.
Yep.
Okay.
Matt, did you get the product large file? A lot of people would kick back.
I did get the cut sheet. Thank you, John.
Great, thank you.
Okay, if there's no other new business, public comment? Hands raised. Next steps?
Our next meeting is November 14th.
Okay. All right, well, thank you, everybody. Went over a little bit, but it was great seeing the kids in action. So I call this meeting to close.